the computer.
All right, so let me get into mine. I called Anarchy Underground, and this is it's another Commodore board. This was not a theme. We're trying to call Commodore boards, but I have to admit that whenever I see a Petsky board, it kind of brings back some old memories. So I tend to try them out quicker than others. They are available at Telnet on aubbs.dyndns.org, and they're running C-based BBS software. Apparently, this was a pretty avid and popular hack freak board at one time. It's a good one to call if you have, like we talked about, CG term or even sync term set up for Petsky. Message area is a little odd, or at least I'm still trying to understand it, and that's actually something that we should talk about in the future, about how almost every BBS software package has a slightly different way of dealing with messages. And so, how do you get new messages? How do you, for instance, Anarchy Underground, so far from what I'm able to see, if you go to read new messages, you'll just start scrolling through them. So there's no prompt in between where you can reply. And I'm sure I'm using it wrong, but I haven't figured it out yet. But either way, it's pretty popular, and it has a lot of activity. You can go in there, lose a couple of days and go in there and see, a few messages up to a dozen or so. So very nice. Message areas are general, the ever popular one. Games, help, telnet, buy, sell, stuff, jokes, electronic repair, SID music, Commodore 64 demo talk, dealer inquiries, Commodore 64 tech talk, the PC forum, porno chat. I'm not exactly sure what kind of discussions you can have in such a place, but nevertheless, if you want to talk porno, there it is. You can also talk about anarchy. I don't know if that's the philosophy of or doing anarchy. CGI graphics, various Commodore groups and events, ham radio and CB.
Oh, ham radio. Interesting.
That's right. Yeah, and it's not hold and modify radio, just so you know.
That's true.
Current events and news, programming, coding, and BBS chat. And there's 22 file directories. I'm not going to go through all of them. Just call and look at them, and then you'll see.
Yeah, it sounds like you found one that's pretty active, pretty busy. Well, a lot of content. Now, when you browse through some of these message areas, did you see a lot of messages going on, a lot of threads, or...
Some more than others.
Okay.
I don't remember specifically which ones. Certainly, a lot of the general ones, people try to put messages in their proper area as opposed to, everything just going in general because that's where everything is. But, ultimately what that comes down to is if the message system makes it easy for you to go in between the different subboards, then the messages tend to go into those other places. Because if you have to stop and then figure out, okay, how do I get to this subboard? Okay, that's how I get to it. How do I post? Then people tend to, I think, just gravitate to one place.
Yeah, it seems like a little bit of a wild variety of message areas, but you see all this stuff when you first log in at a brand new bulletin board, and you say, oh, wow, it has all these message bases. Then you go into one, and it's like, okay, there's 3, but the last one was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It ends up becoming a little bit of a disappointment. But, yeah, you'll find them anyway. I mean, it's a fact of life.
Right.